Welcome to the High Beach. This Hayes Arcade, your Orco Casual fan. So today, we're going to do the year-end awards for both WWE and AEW with a little bit of a twist, as we're going to put AEW and WWE against each other to see what was the best promotion for 2024. For that being said, let's go. So the first award we're going to give is Segment of the Year. What was the Segment of the Year for both WWE and AEW? In my opinion, the Segment of the Year for WWE was So What by Kofi Kingston and the New Day, the 10-year anniversary of New Day, with Kofi and Xavier turning on Big E. I had so many emotions and so many feelings that to this day I can't even express what that segment meant to me, and I was just lost for words. Meanwhile, you have in AEW, the Segment of the Year, in my opinion, was Hangman burning down Swerve's house. When we talk about blood feuds, hating people, hating one another, like I thought Kendrick's hate for Drake was bad. No. Hangman Page actually burnt down Swerve's childhood house. Like, bro, all this stemming from the feud they had a year prior. Now, between AEW and WWE, what was the best segment of the year in professional wrestling between the two? It has to be the So What by New Day. See, the difference between the Hangman segment and the New Day segment was you didn't quite know what was coming. Like, you kind of knew once they introduced the house thing with Swerve, Hangman was somehow going to get involved. You didn't know to what extent, but you kind of knew where they were going to go. New Day turning heel with both Xavier and Kofi was so unexpected. Even though they were teasing Xavier's heel turn the entire time, leading up to the 10-year anniversary segment, we still thought in the back of our mind, but what if it's Kofi? What if Kofi turns heel? And the thing is, a lot of us did not want to see New Day turn heel or break up. We love New Day so much, it's been around for a decade. That doesn't happen. And the fact that they were able to keep them together but make us hate them, that's an A1 Hall of Fame segment. Next, we have Breakout Star of the Year. For WWE, in my opinion, the breakout star was Jey Uso. Jey Uso, who has been fighting, clawing, working diligently to break out of not only under the wing of Roman Reigns, but break out from under the bloodline and become his own man, which started from last year when he moved from SmackDown to Raw, and has done a phenomenal job of getting the fans to care about him, chant with them, be behind them. Jey Uso in 2024 has such a great evolution of being truly a main event star. Meanwhile, for AEW, my breakout star, whose house? Swerve's house. Swerve Strickland, who not too long ago was a very solid mid-carder, was able to turn that around in a short period of time and go from a mid-carder to a main eventer to a world champion. So, who is the breakout star between the WWE and AEW in professional wrestling? In my opinion, it has to be Swerve Strickland. Whose house? Swerve Strickland is a bona fide superstar. He walks, talks, looks, breathes. He just has this aura about him that he is must see. And he's not this hokey character, this hokey baby face. No, he's an authentic character that everyone can somewhat relate to, bringing it back to like the old school Attitude Era style of your Rocks and your Austins, who weren't technically good guys, but were good guys. Next, we have Most Improved Wrestler of 2024. On the WWE side, this was a little bit tough, but I have to go with Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre in 2024 has taken himself to a whole nother level. Drew, who 4 years prior won the Rumble, main event at WrestleMania, and that was cool, even though he didn't do it in front of fans, and carried the company on his back during a pandemic. But I never truly felt like Drew was truly the guy. His maturation of turning heel, and being justified in his actions, yet still being wrong in his actions, has been such a great thing to witness. And Drew for sure has improved his stuff in the ring, on the mic, his persona, to where he is must-see TV anytime he is either on the internet or on the television. Meanwhile, in AEW, the most improved wrestler for me has to be the scapegoat, Jack Perry. I could not stand Jack Perry after what he did a year and a half ago after All In. And basically the reason why, the butterfly effect, the reason why CM Punk is now in the WWE, which I'm actually grateful for. But just the fact that I wanted so bad for AEW to be the best it could be. I was rooting for AEW to just get back to having great wrestling matches, feuds, and characters. And it seemed like they just couldn't get out from under themselves. And Jack Perry was kind of made the scapegoat because of his whole real glass comment that he made at All In, which turned into a fight, which turned into CM Punk getting fired. And them keeping him off TV for so long. And then eventually bringing him back to where he is just this menacing, unapologetic, just downright piece of crap. And you just want to hate him. Like you can't. They're like you just want to boom. Like you can't do nothing but just he just evokes emotion, and that's what you want as a wrestler, as a talent. And Jack Perry has done such a great job of just embracing the hate, embracing all the opinions that people have of him, and turning it into money. Now, in terms of who is the most improved between AEW and WWE, for sure it has to be Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre, in my opinion, you can put the title on right now, main event WrestleMania right now, and I don't think anybody would be against that. Drew has been that great. If you would have said this back at even WrestleMania 40, even going back to 39, 37, he was a very solid talent, but he just didn't have no oomph to him. He didn't have an aura to him, but he's just put all his sliders up in terms of promos, in terms of character, and like I said before, he is must-see TV. And I hope they put a world title on Drew McIntyre for more than 5 minutes going into 2025. But Drew McIntyre for sure is the most improved for 2024. All right, let's go to pay-per-view and PLE of the year. For WWE, of course, it has to be Night 2 of WrestleMania. Meanwhile, for AEW, you had AEW Dynasty. And with that being said, the PLE and pay-per-view for 2024 between AEW and WWE has to be WrestleMania Night 2. It just, as great as AEW was with their matches and title changes and story plots, just WrestleMania Night 2 was just special. Again, we haven't had somebody cash in a Money in the Bank briefcase since WrestleMania 31. And the fact that wasn't even the most important part. The most important part was this helped develop and continue and evolve the Drew and CM Punk rivalry. And then you have Bayley finally getting her moment at WrestleMania by defeating Io in a great match. I would damn near say match of the night at WrestleMania. We even got KO and Randy Orton and Logan Paul for the U.S. title, which was a very dope match. And of course, we had Roman and Cody too for the undisputed WWE title, to where you had all kinds of hoopla, and you had the Avengers Endgame where all these superstars came out, and all led to Cody finally finishing the story. I'm sorry, you could say the wrestling was better on AEW Dynasty, but the most memorable moments and matches I think that will live on forever will for sure be WrestleMania 92 in Philadelphia, WrestleMania 40, where yeah. Next we have Champion of the Year. Champion of the Year between AEW and WWE. On the WWE side, Champion of the Year, I think it's no secret, Cody Rhodes. After winning the title at WrestleMania, he's carried the company on his back. He has showed up every night, every week, on every pay-per-view, having phenomenal matches, and that's what you want out of a champion. Meanwhile, on the AEW side, Champion of the Year for sure has to be timeless Toni Storm. When you talk about someone who decided to do something completely different for what we've seen in wrestling, that is hard to do. Wrestling has been around a long time, and timeless Toni Storm has decided to take this 50s Marilyn Monroe character and just completely be engulfed into a character, which we haven't really seen that done in a very long time, since like the 80s, since like The Undertaker. And she became this character, and she made the women's world title feel important. And she helped elevate Mariah May after beating her for the title. So yeah, Toni Storm for sure has to be Champion of the Year for AEW. And with that being said, who has been the champion for AEW? With that being said, who has been the champion between AEW and WWE? Come on, it has to be Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes, again, is a babyface champion. Babyface champions have not been popular or have worked in terms of being consistently the top guy and being loved by everyone since your days of like John Cena and Batista going back to 2005. Like, it's hard to make a babyface champion to where they are the absolute top guy, doing all the shows, doing all the signings, and doing all the interviews and going to all the press tours. Cody has been everything that we wanted in a champion, especially as a babyface. Going from Roman Reigns, who throughout the half of his title reign never showed up. Cody has been the exact opposite, and he has showed what a babyface champion should be. He's still over today, like he just won the title or came back yesterday. Like, he has done something I didn't know what was possible. I didn't know it was possible to have a babyface champion still be this over. I just didn't know it was possible. Feud of the Year for WWE, it has to be Drew versus Punk. We're talking about a feud that lasted basically 10 months, to where they didn't even touch in terms of having a match until 8 months in. Like, that is insane. 8 months in, all from the Royal Rumble, to where Drew accidentally injured CM Punk. Then CM Punk couldn't make WrestleMania. Drew won the title. CM Punk cost Drew the title reign with the cash in. And then they wound up having promo battles and brawls. And then wound up having the match. From SummerSlam to Bash of Berlin to the Great Hell in a Cell match. I mean, come on. The storytelling with the development of Drew's character, Punk's character, at one time made it over a bracelet. Like, you're cooking when you can make a feud over a bracelet and it be fire. Meanwhile, Feud of the Year for AEW has to be Swerve versus Hangman. And even though they didn't have a lot of matches over this past year, the feud is so hot that they were able to be basically away from each other for half of the year, come back, and it still feel like the most important thing in AEW. That steel cage match they had, the segments leading up to it, with Hangman burning down Swerve's house. I mean, if you didn't want to see them kill each other after that, I don't know what would have. But going back to the steel cage match they had, completely brutal. Like it was just relentless, bruh. Like it was just like Hangman put a needle in the Swerve. Like that's insane, bruh. That's insane. Yet you believe that Hangman would do something like that. That's how much they hated each other. And that's what makes a feud great, when you absolutely believe in the characters and believe in the story that they're telling and believe in the rivalry. So with that being said, what is feud of the year? It has to be Drew versus Punk. It has to be Drew versus Punk. Drew versus Punk, like I said before, we're able to make a feud last almost an entire year, where half of the feud they didn't have a match. That is damn near impossible to do. But yet they kept finding new ways to have each other cross each other's paths. And again, Drew costing Punk WrestleMania, Punk costing Drew the title, Punk costing Drew the Money in the Bank briefcase, Drew then defeating Punk at SummerSlam, then them having the next two matches of the strap match and the Hell in a Cell match, which is match of the year candidate. Like they went so hardcore, and Drew especially on the mic being absolutely right in his reasons for being mad at Punk, but Punk then coming back and then retorting with his reasons why, and you believe both characters, and both characters were in the right, which makes such a great feud. When you just don't have, well, I'm a good guy, so you should cheer me. I'm a bad guy, you should cheer me. No, both guys were righteous in what they felt, and they just told a great story. And they had great matches, so that's what's most important as well. Yeah, Drew and Punk for sure have feud of the year. So now let's go to match of the year. AEW. So now let's go to match of the year. On the WWE side, match of the year, I think it's no secret, Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, WrestleMania 40 Night 2. On AEW side, I think you can make an argument for a few matches, but to me, match of the year, in my opinion, is going back to AEW Dynasty, Bryan Danielson versus Ospreay. They didn't have the story that Cody and Roman had. They didn't have, it being at WrestleMania. You just had two lads, listen to me. You had two wrestlers who just wanted to prove who was the absolute best wrestler in the world. And they exceeded expectations. We all thought this was going to be at least a 4-star match. They exceeded that. And without a shadow of a doubt, had a 5+ star match and told a great story of two gunslingers just wanting to kill each other and who were just going to get the last shot. And Ospreay using the sling blade, and Ospreay eventually beating Bryan Danielson, and Bryan Danielson being injured after the match, which Ospreay almost felt regretful for what he did. Like just little things like that. That match was just unreal. And with that being said, match of the year between WWE and AEW, it has to be Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. Yeah, even though bell to bell, you could definitely make the argument that Danielson and Ospreay had the better match, but it's all about how you felt. And how I felt was Cody and Roman literally made me emotional. I didn't cry per se, but I got teary-eyed because that's how much we were invested, not only in Cody winning the title, but Roman's 4-year title reign, to everything that it took to get Cody to finally win. Like that, just again, that whole sequence is one of the greatest sequences in the history of wrestling. We've never seen anything like that in wrestling, to where you continuously have people interfere in a match, and it continuously got better and better and better and better. Like, we've never seen anything like that, like, ever. Yeah, even though, again, I want to give props to Danielson and Ospreay because they did a phenomenal job, but yeah, just Cody Rhodes and Roman, they had to live up to not only what they did last year, but exceed expectations, because this was the main event of WrestleMania 40, the biggest event of the year, possibly the biggest WrestleMania of all time. They had to live up to that, and they absolutely did. And yeah, Cody and Roman, they did the damn thing. I know we focused on the other people that were involved, but Cody and Roman also played a major part in that match, and for sure had match of the year for me. Now let's go to Women's Wrestler of the Year. On the WWE side, I think without a shadow of a doubt, it has to be Rhea. Rhea, who's gone from being this heel in Judgment Day to really at a flip of a switch has been not only one of the faces of WWE, but was able to just stay herself, be herself, and be cheered by the fans. And she's been able, when she's been in the ring, which she's been injured throughout the year, when she's been in the ring, whether it was at Elimination Chamber versus Nia, her match versus Becky at WrestleMania, her match at SummerSlam versus Liv, like, she's put on, for the most part, throughout the entire year. And she was champion for a quarter of it, and she did a phenomenal job as being a champion. So I think, yeah, Rhea on the WWE side for sure is Women's Wrestler of the Year. Meanwhile, on the AEW side, it has to be none other than Toni Storm. Timeless Toni Storm was must-see television. She was able to get a women's championship over to where you were so invested in her as a character. She was so unpredictable. You didn't know what she was going to do, but you wanted to see what she was going to do. And she made, like I said, she made that title relevant. The AEW Women's Championship was relevant because she made the title relevant. So that has to make her the Women of the Year for AEW. And with that being said, between the two of Rhea and Toni Storm, who was the absolute best, has to be Toni Storm. I think, again, Rhea has been able to continue her projection for what she's done since joining the Judgment Day over the past 2 years. Meanwhile, Toni Storm had to revitalize the women's division, which at a point was solid, but it's kind of been dull. And Toni decided to create a character that has never been seen before, was able to do segments in black and white, and she was just unreal. Like, she talked, the way she talked and walked like she was a 50s character. Her interactions, like, she was the character of timeless Toni Storm. She was that character. And again, character work is something that we don't really see anymore today, when everything is supposed to be, modernized. She was able to take a character that is supposed to be from the 50s and make it prevalent and relatable in 2024. That shouldn't be possible. But she did that, and she made the title important, and she helped make another superstar in Mariah May. So yeah, that without a shadow of a doubt, Toni Storm to me just was something so different and so powerful. I have to give Woman of the Year to Toni Storm. And the final award of the year is the Men's Wrestler of the Year, which for me, on the WWE side, has to be Cody Rhodes. Then on the AEW side, this might be a little controversial, but when I'm taking everything into account, I have to give Men's Wrestler of the Year on the AEW side to whose house? Swerve's house. I have to give it to Swerve Strickland. I know a lot of people have a few other opinions on who it should be, but to me, Swerve kind of was the heart and pulse of AEW, especially, again, going to not having a lot of interest in watching AEW anymore after all the hoopla that's been going on over the past year. And Swerve Strickland has done such phenomenal character work, has had phenomenal matches, and eventually got everyone invested for him to win the title, kind of like Cody. And he wins the title, and even with everything going on, he puts the title and company on his back, and was one of the few things that was must-see. He had this aura that was unmatched like nobody else. And yeah, I think because he had to carry that title, he had to be a light in what many people consider to be darkness at times within AEW, if I'm be honest. And just the development and the evolution of him. I think it just I have to give it to Swerve Strickland as Wrestler of the Year for AEW. And with that being said, the Wrestler of the Year for all of 2024 between AEW and WWE has to be, whoa, Cody Rhodes, Cody Rhodes, something, Cody Rhodes. It has to be Cody Rhodes. I mean, come on. He not only had Match of the Year, he's been Champion of the Year, he's put an entire company on his back as a babyface. I know I'm glazing him crazy right now, pause, but he just been that dude. He really is him. He's that guy right now. He was the guy for all of 2024. All the major important storylines and matches, for the most part, went through him. And again, to be a top-tier main event, front-facing, babyface champion that throughout the entire year has not gotten booed, has been the guy that everyone loves. That shows how much talent Cody has. And I have to give him Wrestler of the Year as being the guy of the year for 2024. And with that being said, the promotion of the year, after tallying up everything, is WWE. WWE has been on fire ever since Triple H has taken over, and they are doing some of the best work they have done throughout the history of the promotion, and I hope for even more continued success for WWE. And I appreciate AEW too. I know we have this tribalist thing to where we want to pin each other. We have this thing to where you can't love both promotions. You either love AEW or you love WWE. The thing is, I love wrestling. So I love both companies. I just want them to have the best year. I want them to have the best months, weeks, days. So, but let me know who you had in each category that I presented. And let me know what you thought was the best promotion for 2024. Like, comment, subscribe, share all the things. Welcome to the High Bitch. There's Hayes Arcade, your hardcore casual fan. And if you're not down with that, I got 2 words for you. Suck it.
I'm the best. I'm the best in the world.